Yo, check, check, check. Let me know if y'all could hear me. Let's keep popping up. Stay prayed up, y'all. Let me double check that I'm live. Check, check, check. Okay, cool. Feel like the sound is on. All right. Yeah, did the video on Kareem. Uh, yeah. I mean, Lou Alcindor, Kareem. However you want to call him. I would say Kareem probably is a more respectful way. That's what he changed his name to. And yeah, I mean, check the video if you want. Uh, for me, he is he is right there in terms of all time best player. I have him right there with Mike. I think he's as good as they come. Played in the NBA for 20 seasons. Uh, Started out with the Bucks. I think he won the title in what, year two, maybe year three. And the reason why I would put him as right there with Michael Jordan, as 1, 2, is considered by many the greatest high school player of all time between him and LeBron. And then definitely by far the greatest college basketball player of all time. 3-time college player of the year, 3-time, I believe 3-time, 3-time national champion. And at that time, you couldn't play varsity. At that time, you couldn't play varsity as a freshman, so he only was able to play 3 years. And in those 3 years, he won the title 3 times, and he was Player of the Year 3 times. So he was as good as you can be at the college level. Played for forgetting his college coach. If anybody remembers the coach, throw it in the chat. Um, 19-time All Star, 15-time All NBA, 6 MVPs, the most ever. Um, 6 NBA titles, right? I'm sure it says that, right? 6 titles, 11-time All Defensive Team. People don't really talk about his defense like that. He played for Power Memorial. I don't believe that school exists anymore. Was an all-boys school. So Kareem, Len Elmore. I'm not sure who Len Elmore is. Oh, Len Elmore. Oh, he's like an analyst. Yeah, he played in the league for a little bit. Shout out to Len Elmore. Mario Elie, who played for the Spurs. Chris Mullin, New York City legend. I thought he played at Zavarian though. Yeah, it says okay. So I guess he started at Power Memorial and then transferred to Zavarian. Shout out to Chris Mullin, one of the better shooters. Dick Pavetta, legendary vet. Yeah, Power Memorial doesn't exist anymore. Actually, funny story. My high school, one of my early AAU coaches, he was like 5'6", 6 or something like that. He actually played against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when Kareem was in high school. You know, he had that New York accent, so he was like, "Yeah, we played against Lou Alcindor." You know, he's from like New York, northern New Jersey or New York or one of those areas. And he would always talk about the story of playing against Lou Alcindor. And you know, Kareem's like 7 feet tall, right? So, and my coach was probably like 5'6" or something, 5'7" or something like that. And he was guarding Kareem. Like this is no joke. He's guarding Kareem, and Kareem just throwing elbows on his head because he's so tall. And and yeah, he's telling the story, and they Kareem scored a bunch of points, but I think they beat Kareem. I think they beat Kareem's team, which is actually crazy. Like that's a crazy story. You play against arguably the greatest player of all time. A lot of young cats, you know, may have not really seen him play, but you got to think he was the all-time leading scorer, and they didn't really have threes like that back then, right? Uh, Went to UCLA, as I was saying, the best college. He averaged like 44 plus. We got the Pete Maravich video on the channel. It's the best. It's the highest ranked video on this whole channel, at least long form. Got drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm trying to see what year. So he got drafted 69. So I believe year 69, 70, 69, 70, 70, 71. So second year. Second year he wins the title. So he got drafted to Milwaukee with Oscar Robertson, the Big O, and all. And you know the Big O, the first guy to ever average a triple double in the season. You know, a top 5 point guard of all time, and him and the Big O win the title. And you know what it is about me and some of these dudes? It's like, and I'm not gonna call out any particular dudes, but like when we're talking about these all-time great dudes, Jordan, Kareem, LeBron, you know, Irving, Magic, Johnson, Larry Bird, um, a car for edit. Uh, I would say a Corvette. Yeah, I'll say a Corvette. All those like super great players, they were always those guys were great from day one. You know what I mean? And I don't like those that level of player. It's tough to like recreate them. You know, like Kobe's probably a little bit different because Kobe was in a position. Cricket, LOL. Yeah, thanks for coming. I would say Corvette though. Um, those kind of players, it's tough to recreate them. Um, and I know the NBA is looking for that next like great player, but it's one thing to be great, but it's another thing to win titles. He had two Finals MVPs. I don't know if people want to use that. You know, that's the one thing you could say. Like he wasn't the best player on his team. Um, on all his titles, you know. This 1980 title, you know, Johnson was the MVP. I don't know who was the MVP in this one. Johnson again. Kareem in 85, 87, Johnson, 88, James Worthy. So, yeah, I mean, different people have different opinions on that. The most MVPs all time, 19 All Stars, All NBA first team 10 times, All NBA second team 5 times, All defensive first team 5 times, All defensive second team 6 times, Rookie of the Year, led the league in scoring twice. And if you notice, he led the league in scoring and they won the title the year they led the league in scoring. And that's very rare because generally, when you lead the league in scoring, like people think like the scoring style is the style that wins, but it generally isn't the style that wins. Usually leading the league in scoring is not the way to win titles. And that was the thing. Like they saw it with Michael Jordan, and even Michael Jordan, like he didn't like that notion, like that people who win scoring titles couldn't win championships, right? And but that's generally the case, right? So he did win the scoring title in '71. I just want to point that out. He won the scoring title in '71 and then won the title, right? And this was with Milwaukee. And if you notice, this man has 6 MVPs, right? And 5 of them were in the '70s, and the last one was like the first year of the '80s, right? So he was so dominant in the '70s, he was basically like half the MVPs of the whole decade, which is crazy. Led the league in rebounding in '76, 35th all-time team, 50th all-time team, 75th all-time team, retired by the Bucks and the Lakers. 3-time NCAA champion, 3-time Final Four, most outstanding player, 3-time college player of the year. Like the best basketball player in college basketball history. Like I don't even think that's close. Won a title as a USBL coach, assistant coach with the Lakers. I guess that was the Lakers. Ugh, 3.6 assists. That's not bad. He played for John Wooden, who up there, probably a top 5 all-time coach. He created that skyhook shot, which is one of the more iconic shots in the history of the game. He retired at the age of 42 in 1989. So he came in the league 71. No, right? No, 69. Came in 69 and retired in 89. Came at the end of the 60s, retired at the end of the 80s. So by the time he retired, he was a leader in points, games played, field goals made, block shots. I think the block shots leader right now is Hakeem Olajuwon now. Somebody could double check that and fact check that, but I think so. Defensive rebounds. I don't know who the all-time leading rebounder is. Look, he remains the all-time leader in field goals made, ranked second in career points. Like, think about it. Like, he has the most field goals made. And second most field goal attempts. Name him the greatest center of all time. I agree with that. The greatest player in college basketball history. I agree with that. Second best player in NBA history behind Michael Jordan. I agree with that. I agree with that. I think he is the second best player of all time. That's just my opinion, though. I think you can go multiple ways with it, but to me, he's the second greatest player of all time. He was born in Harlem. 5'8" at the age of 9. Sheesh. I'm basically like 5'8" now. No, I gotta skip over that part. So he won the national championship in 10th and 11th grade. Dang, I want to skip that part because I don't want any young kids to see that word. But um, most sought after prospect since Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain actually played for the Globetrotters for a bit. Wow, teams in the South were willing to break the color line to bring him in. Yeah, but that makes sense. At that time, you go to California, and LA ended up being his, where he made it in the NBA too. But yeah, you go to California, you don't have to deal with a lot of the racial things at that time. Lucius Allen, uh, might have heard of him. I'm not too sure. The other guys, I'm not too sure who were fellow All Americans. Kenny Heights, not too sure him. Ray Lynn Shackelford, Gail Goodrich was a good NBA player. 5-time All Star, yeah. One of the best players out of like that LA area ever. Keith Erickson, not too sure who he is. Um, won an NBA title with who? The Milwaukee Bucks. Oh, the Lakers. My bad. Um, freshman team, he averaged 33 points a game. They won 88 games in his 3 years and only 2 losses. He had an eye injury when they lost to Houston. Three-time National Player of the Year. Three-time first team. Three-time most outstanding player. He suffered a scratch cornea. Yeah, okay, this makes sense because he kept hurting his eye, so he caused him to wear goggles for eye protection. So he kept hurting his eye. So I guess that's why he started wearing the goggles. I never knew that. In a contest billed as the game of the century, Cougar forward Elvin Hayes threw 39 points and 15 rebounds while was up to 15 points, and Houston won. So they blew him out the next time they played without Sumner healthy, and they held Elvin Hayes to 10 points. Elvin Hayes was a great player too, though. The Big E, right? Top 50 player all time, top 75 player all time. 12-time All Star, 1978 title, yeah, with the Houston Rockets. He's from Louisiana, but he played at the University of Houston. So another legend himself, though. So don't get it. Cats can't get it twisted or get it sweet. My man was nice, Elvin Hayes. But yeah, let's look at some of his NBA career. Why wouldn't? Yeah, there we go. The Globetrotters offered him $1 million. Wow, that's crazy. In 1969, $1 million was probably like, I don't know, probably like 100 million. I don't know. I don't know what that would be today, but that's crazy. Who are in their second season of existence? Okay, so when he came, the Bucks had a 56-26 record from 27 and 55. He had 51 points as a rookie. Alcindor averaged 28 and 14 as a rookie of the year. He was the second rookie to score at least 40 points and 25 rebounds in a playoff game after Wilt Chamberlain. He also set an NBA rookie record with 10 or more games with 20 points during the playoffs, tied by Jason Tatum. Shout out to JT. God bless him, my man can get healthy. Next season, the Bucks acquired All-Star guard Oscar Robertson. They went on to the best record, 66 victories, including 20 straight. He won MVP, 31 points a game. Dang it, man. He averaged 27 points per game, 60% from the field. MVP during the offseason, joined. He averaged 34 points a game. Got MVP. Feel free to let me know anything in the chat that you want me to go over. But yeah, just going over his career. I think he's a legend. I think he's one of the greats. We have another video coming up in the works of another 90s. Robertson became a free agent. Oscar Robertson retired in 1974. Okay, so basically after the Oscar Robertson retired, Kareem was like, "Yo, I gotta get out of here." He wanted to go to the Knicks. Okay, so the Knicks were his first choice. Obviously, he's a New York guy, right? The Bullets were his second choice. They were the Bullets back then. His third choice was the Lakers, but he didn't like the Midwest. Wow, they finished last place in the division. Wow, that would have been crazy. Imagine Kareem in New York, though. He wanted to play in New York or LA. But, yo, I always say this, though. I think LA, the Lakers, are the easiest championship in the NBA. And I don't think all titles are built the same. If you win in Milwaukee, like Giannis did, if you won in Denver, like Jokic did, SGA in Oklahoma City, I think those titles are harder to get because you don't necessarily see free agents go to those cities. There's a reason why the Indiana Pacers have never won a title. There's a reason why the Minnesota Timberwolves have never won a title. It's not because their teams are bad. A lot of it comes down to, I think, two things in professional sports. What kind of ownership do you have? And is that ownership willing to spend and either the owner or the GM really has to know what they're doing, and one of the two has to be the chef in the kitchen. There can't be two chefs in the kitchen. One has to be a chef, and the other has to be a sous chef. And that's my opinion, right? And the one who really knows like the game and how to build a team, kind of like Dr. Jerry Buss did with the Lakers, Steinbrenner with the Yankees, right? Like you have to know how to build those teams, and like I remember when Lakeup and those guys took the helm at Golden State. It was like 2012, 2013, and that's when Golden State started to rise. When you have the right front office, then teams generally win, right? But a lot of times these smaller teams don't necessarily have, like they're not the leadership is not really gung like they're not winning is might not be the number one priority. So that can affect how people's careers go. But when you play for the Lakers, like winning is generally always a priority, right? And it's a city where human beings want to go because it's a big city and it's a big market city. And being in a big city and a warm weather city like that, you can acquire free agents. One, because the team has won in the past, and if the team has won in the past, people know they could win in the future. And two, you get more. It's easier to get endorsements. You get paid more in those endorsement contracts when you play for a winning team and a winning franchise. And then also on the back end, uh, people know that they have a chance to win because they those franchises won before. Like you look at how Kevin Love went to the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron, but it wasn't until LeBron had won a title where Kevin Love would make that kind of lateral move from a Minnesota to a Cleveland. Right, those cities are lateral kind of Midwest cities, and he wouldn't normally make that kind of move if he didn't know he had a chance to win. Lakers acquired Abdul Jabbar for Walt Wesley, Elmore Smith, Brian Winters, blue chip rookies Dave Myers and Junior Bridgman. Junior Bridgman, I think, is like he's if he's the guy thinking he's got a lot of money. I don't know who a lot of these guys are, though, to be honest with you. I've never heard of them. Dave Myers played at UCLA. Junior Bridgman, he's like a businessman. Yeah, this guy's really rich. Had a net worth, despite never making more than 350. He had a net worth of $1.4 billion. Yeah, he's like a rich, like former NBA player, billionaire. I think he has like something in the car industry. I think he's in like the Midwest or something. Oh, fast food chain. My bad. Fast food chain. Yeah, dude is really rich. Yeah, I should definitely look up his story. Maybe I'll do something on his story too. But dude is loaded. So is Vinny Johnson, the microwave, loaded. Um, uh, let's see. Averaged 27 and 16 with the Lakers. Blocked 4 shots a game. Man, that's crazy. The most defensive rebounds in a season. They were not recorded before 1973-74. That's kind of crazy. Earned his 4th MVP. He was the first MVP in Lakers history. That's kind of crazy. I, that's George Mikan never won an MVP. Like, I don't understand that. It almost makes me want to look it up. Acquiring 5th MVP, tying Bill Russell's record, 57% from the field, 26%, 13 rebounds, 3 block shots. Broke his right hand punching Kent Benson. He was not named to the All-Star game. Artis Gilmore and Bob Lanier were the reserves. Why wasn't he named to the All-Star game? Maybe he just didn't play enough games that year. All NBA second team, all defensive first team. They weren't getting that far in the playoffs. You know what the thing is? Like part of the challenge with like these big men is when you build your team around big men, in my opinion, you need a guard. You need a playmaker because I don't really remember any teams that were winning titles without a playmaker. Even Shaq, right? Uh, right? Shaq had Penny. Shaq had Dwayne Wade. Shaq had Kobe. Like somebody who was a playmaker, because Kobe had to become a playmaker, right? They signed Irvin Johnson, right? Irvin, and then the Showtime Lakers began, right? His rookie year, they win the title, 20 points for the following 6 seasons. 83 against Moses Malone. They lost that year to the he averaged 21, 7 rebounds. 7 rebounds. 21-7. That's not that crazy to me though. So playing in his 17th season, that was the record at the time. Dolph Shays, who was an old, I'd say 50s legend, 50s maybe. Yeah, Syracuse. Uh, Played for the Sixers, Buffalo Bills. I think he's a top 75 all-time player. Yeah, he's on the top 75 team. Dolph Shays, shout out to Dolph Shays. Havlicek played for the Celtics. Paul Silas played for the Celtics. The Big E played for the Houston Rockets. So those guys played 16 seasons. They defeated the Pistons in 1988. Yeah, in 1989, that was his last season. At the time of his retirement, held the record for most career games played in the NBA. He was the all-time holder for minutes, field goals made, most points, and most 1,000 point seasons. Yeah, I mean LeBron is obviously the guy now. I mean LeBron, one of the greatest players ever. You know, if you want to say he's the greatest, I ain't arguing with that. LeBron is an unbelievable player. I think Kareem could have had way more points if they had a 3-point line. You know, if they were utilizing the 3-pointer more at that time. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Kareem. Kind of quiet chat, but it's all good. Appreciate everybody who joined in. Seems like there's nobody there right now, but appreciate everybody who joined in. If anybody has any last minute things that they want to put in the chat, let me know. If not, I'm signing off for the day. Uh, Signing off for this. God bless in Jesus' name.